Isn't that interesting?
Is that like a segue?
Yes.
That's good.
Right? It's like, it's perfect, right? It's almost like the people who put this together went from E to P. It's like Josh and John didn't just create this out of our back pocket. We're following a system here. So somewhere along the line, we've developed limiting beliefs, and if you don't think you have them, that is a limit. Okay? They're everywhere. They creep in everywhere. It's the, I called this person, they never answer. I called this person, they don't answer, they don't want to talk to me. That's a limiting belief, just creating stories, right? So as we
There are a lot of this real estate. I've heard so many times that, oh, Facebook leads don't work.
open houses,
Open houses don't work. Like, yeah. Cold calling people, that doesn't work anymore. Like nothing works. Like nothing works. Nothing works.
So I'll give you a real life example. My coach, Matt Teeter. If you ever have an opportunity to coach with Matt, you should consider it, and you should make sure you wear a face protector because he's not afraid to punch you in the face in a loving way. So he shares, he's working with us to invite people outside of our company to mega, right? And we're like within this 30-day window. He's like, oh, well, let me guess. It's too late to invite people to mega camp. He's like, all right, so then start inviting them to family reunion. Oh, it's too early to invite the family reunion. So which is it? Is it too late or too early? You got to figure it out, right? Like, is it too early to door knock, or is it too late in the evening to door knock? Is it too cold to door knock, or is it too hot to door knock? Am I too old, or am I too young? Am I too attractive, or am I not attractive enough? Right? It's stories that we create. We have one. I know how expensive that thing is. It's the stories we create. So I tell people, if I'm going to create stories, I might as well create a story that makes me feel good about myself. Right? So just start thinking about that. So high achievers remove beliefs from their thinking that hold them back. So as you start to encounter obstacles or adversity, start to ask yourself, is the way, what's her name? Sarah. Okay. Thank you. I didn't want to call you wrong. So Sarah, when you start to approach things, you might ask yourself, is my mindset holding me back? Or is this, the way I'm thinking about this, creating room for opportunity? Is it closing or opening space for opportunity? And then it's a choice. Because we don't get to choose our first thought, but we do get to choose our second thought and how we continue to think about it, right? Sorry. It's okay. I wish I had these videos. It's all right. Next time I'll be more purposeful in making sure I have the videos.
I think we had a question about limiting belief. So like walk me through kind of like what weird. Yeah.
Gotcha. So it's situation based, but typically it's very evident when we in a team environment are discussing different ideas on implementing X, Y, Z. I have a personality of too much of a skepticism, and when putting my thought into each of the ideas, I trash them.
So you're
Debbie Downer. Yeah, so that is very evident to me. In my personal life, I do want to do X, but I want it to be done perfectly, so I don't start it.
Well, I was making sure that's probably why you're in operations. You're probably amazing at it, but you want things to be done correctly.
I guess.
I think so. Here's the thing, like the black hat is very helpful because I'm not black hat. I'm white hat. I need black hat. You guys know what white hat and black hat is, right? So white hat is like, yes, let's go do it. We can do anything we want.
Yeah.
Right? Black hat is like, hold on a second. Reel it in here, John. Dial it back. Like, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? So it's healthy to an extent.
Yes, and my extent is not healthy because I'm being told that I'm too negative in situations.
That's not always true. Whoever's telling you that may or may not be true. I don't know. I wasn't there. That's not
No. Matt was here.
Is he white hat?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a framework, just FYI, there's a system that you can use around in a group type setting like this. Because because it's weird. If it's like for me, if it's my idea, I can come up with the white hat. But if I'm sitting in a room with somebody else that's their idea, my black hat comes out. So there's a framework of how to have in this group, and it's not conducive to a group type setting. Because then you can get into this, well, if you're just being negative and this, and then other people are chiming in, and next thing you know, it's like, we didn't really get anywhere in the meeting.
Yeah.
So there's a book, DeBono's 6 Thinking Hats. DeBono, it'll give you a framework or a model for how to have a constructive dialogue around organizational change or a new initiative, and everybody will have a role. So it's like, okay, we want to listen to the white hat, now let's bring out all the other hats, and then it'll walk you through that. Now it's interesting, my wife is like that. Like my wife is like, if you look at her Facebook feed, the world is coming to a freaking end. Instagram, like there's a new pandemic coming out, like they're shutting down schools, like the economy's crashing, like Facebook and there's a new tick that just came out and killing everybody. Like she knows about all the negativity in the world.
And then you have me, it's like,
I don't see any of that stuff.
my head's in the clouds, like, I don't know what's going on, I don't pay attention, like, it usually doesn't affect my daily life.
Like
So I don't pay attention to it.
The funny thing is Facebook considers my wife and I to not be relevant. Because I don't even see her posts.
But so here's the
So Facebook is saying like you two are so on such different planets, like we don't think you'll find her stuff valuable. Not like it's my life.
without the black hat though, I might walk off the cliff. Right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like the black hat does come into play, right? So I would ask you, when you're identifying problems, identifying things that go wrong, does it stop with identifying them? Or does it continue with finding solutions to
Yeah.
it? That's the big differentiator, because if you're just calling out problems to point out problems, yeah, that's no fun. Yep, if you point out problems to be solution based, it's like, okay, I can see this happening, but if this happens, we do this. If this happens, we do this. Or you go back to Matt. Matt, here's a potential problem with your plan. I have these ideas of how we can make it work, but what are your thoughts? What are your feedback? What do you think? Right, and then think of a way to make it work.
And I think you can apply going back to like the B2B situation. So like, I know I would find it to be very, very valuable and helpful. Instead of my wife saying, here's what's wrong with da 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 da. We have a situation. I've done some research. I spoke to other people that have solved this challenge. Here's what they did. What are your thoughts? And now it's like, it's not just negative, it's negative and positive. We've got a situation here. I've done some research into it. I know it's been done elsewhere because I found a model for it. What do you think about applying this or tweaking this a little bit? Or because I think that's the.
And another, real
Like,
quick, John, I think one of the things here as I'm listening to John talk, thinking about this, and even hear what you're saying, identifying things that could go wrong isn't necessarily a limiting belief. Right? Identifying things that could go wrong could be considered being proactive.
Yeah.
A limiting belief is, I'm not good enough for this. I don't deserve this. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not old enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not young enough. These are limiting beliefs. They don't want to hear from me. I don't have value. I'm not worth this commission, as John very happily pointed out earlier in our conversation today. Right, those are beliefs that could start getting in your way. I'll share one for myself. Like, the highest priced property I ever did was like $938,000. I know that's not that big of a deal. It's a big deal to me. I had a hard time justifying my commission rate. It's like, it's a lot of money. Like, what am I going to do something differently at this price point than I do at my average price point to justify the difference? Right, so I was like stuck in my head with this, like I just didn't feel confident it was getting in my way. Where the reality is, are there more or less buyers at that price point? There's less buyers at that. Now, keep in mind, this was like 2017. It's looking like post-pandemic. This was before prices got absolutely ridiculous. So it was a big deal, right? It's a big deal. So it's like, in theory, this could actually be a harder sell. There's more involved. This client wants something different. They want a higher level of service. So yes, The reality is, I probably just did deserve a higher commission, right? When you start to break it down, it's just finding the perspective that opens room for possibility. Thoughts on that? Does that help? Did I go off on a tangent right there? Okay.
I think
You kind of
essentially,
switched gears, which I liked, about classifying things the way they should be classified, and being a black hat doesn't necessarily mean that you have to.
that.
Yeah. It's only, you know who it's bad to? It's bad to the white hat that's trying to get their.
Yes.
Let's try that conflict,
Yeah.
because I'm the white hat. Our market center coordinator, who's like my partner in crime, she's a black hat. We don't have arguments, we have passionate conversations.
But you can take things too far, right? So I'm gonna refer you to a book that I just listened to about perfectionism that you just referred to. Where I think it can be the same thing, so there's, the book talks about maladaptive perfectionism, where you procrastinate because it's not perfect and you never do anything. But then there's good perfectionism, where you just wanna do a really good job, right? So there's like the black hat that's just contributing and being the important backstop for the white hat. But if taken too far, right, it can be a real impediment to your growth if you just find, if you're really sort of self-sabotaging yourself.
And I think the one thing that differentiates the two is finding solutions. Like finding problems is absolutely, that's great. But finding problems without solutions, now you're just becoming a pain in the butt.
And you also realize, like, so it's interesting, like, we're all on the same line. Professionally, like my wife can't, she does not like to make a decision. I don't know how we got there, to be honest with you. Like, I don't. We were shopping for cars years ago, which for me is a miserable experience, because she wants to look, and she has all these questions, like, and I'm just like, dude, it's just done with this thing. But we came across a very, very good car salesperson. And he helped her to identify what she was looking, like, we went and test drove a lot of different cars, and most of them like, there's the car, like, you wanna take it for a test drive, like, and she has all these questions, like, and then, when we went to the BMW dealership, and we bought a Chrysler Town and Country, so it was a used Chrysler Town and Country at a BMW dealership, but that salesperson knew more about that Chrysler Town and Country than a Chrysler Town and Country salesperson knew about it. And he asked her all the right questions. He managed her expectations. He got her concerns. He identified who the decision makers were. Who should I be talking to? Like, it was such an amazing experience that I literally went to the sales manager and I said, listen, I'm not in the market for a BMW, but if I ever am in the market for a BMW, or if I know anybody that's in the market for a BMW, I'm recommending you all because you have the most well-trained. So our job, if we think about adding value to relationships and our clients, our job is to be that consultant. If we think that we're going to make the kind of money that we make by basically opening up the door, like the guy did at, you know, the car dealership, we're going to find ourselves making income like a CarMax salesperson makes. A CarMax salesperson, by the way, what a CarMax salesperson makes, like $100 a car. The BMW salesperson makes a lot more money, but they're they're a consultant versus, oh, what are you looking for? Here's a monitor right there. You want to take it for a test drive? Great, let me know when you need me. And I think some agents have become accustomed to being that type of consultant. Go find a house online. Let me know if you want to see it. I'll open the door for you. And then I'll use a fill-in-the-blank contract.
Gary calls this being order taker versus being an educator and provide guidance, right? So it's really easy, thanks to the likes of like Redfin and some of these other models, they've created a consumer base that kind of expects order takers. Like, I want to see this house. Well, are you pre-qualified? No, but you need to show me the house. Like, well, no, I'm not doing that, right? Like, you could choose to, you might choose to, that's okay, it's your business. I'm not doing that. But that's the order taker. The educational consultant is going to ask the questions. They're going to take the time to slow down and explain the process, understand what this person wants, and why do they want to go see it right now today? Like, why don't they want to go get pre-qualification? Chances are they don't understand. They just don't know, right? That's what the likelihood is. So just slowing down to be an educational consultant rather than just an order taker. or a Pop-Tart agent, that's what we call it. You guys know what a Pop-Tart is? No. Your phone rings, you pop up and you go show the house. You don't ask any questions. Oh, you got a live one. They wanna go see 123 Main Street.
In a half hour, I'll be right there.
You go show them the house, you never hear from them again. Because you didn't articulate value, you articulated that your value is opening the door, any person can do that. So they have no reason to, there's some
Yeah,
experts.
If that was our value, then I should just go to Uber and say, listen, let's structure a business venture together where you're gonna get all of your Uber drivers a real estate license. And we'll just have Uber drivers that are already out in the field opening up doors for houses.
Let's talk later.
The interesting thing about this from, I think a lot of, in life and in business, a lot of our limiting beliefs are something that's been programmed into us. From our environment, the way we were raised, whatever it is, the environment. And if you understand like that, it's like understanding, okay, why do I think this way? How am I programmed to believe? Like, where did this thought come from? And you take control of your thoughts. But then you also understand that you can also reprogram yourself.
So to program, watch it. Money is the root of all evil. Did somebody say evil? I said evil. How about all things great? So we say it's equally true. Like, it's just perspective. Like society has taught us that money is the root of all evil. Well, says who?
Well, or
Greed, I would say the lack of money is the root of all evil. The root of all evil. The lack of money is the root of all evil.
and you're being programmed even more now than ever before in childhood.
Yeah.
You have to be aware of that. Is this my conscious thought, or is this how somebody else wants me to think because they have their own agenda? But if you're not clear on what your agenda is and what your thoughts are, then you're subject to like whatever. We should all go this way. Okay, why should I do that? Because that's what everybody on TikTok says. Because it sounds familiar. That's for that.
Or it's flashy. It feeds our ego, right?
Well, critical thinking is hard. I'd rather just society tell me what to do. It is here.
So this, again, this conversation is a perfect segue into our next step,